So very good morning, good afternoon and good evening world over wherever you are. Green morning, green afternoon and green evening to all my brothers and sisters world over in the different countries, at different continents, different places, different time zones. Wherever you are, we extend you a very hearty welcome for joining us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got 30 million plus non-resident Indians abroad today. And during this lockdown, during this pandemic, particularly the education sector, when we talk about, they are having lots of difficulty because the educators all of a sudden had to change to the new mode. They had come out of the classroom. It's a blended learning, it's a flipped learning, it's a digital learning, it's a technology-based learning. Whatsoever you want to talk about, all that is being taken care of. Teachers, as a warriors, as an educators, are trying their level best. We have brought this special series for all of you, which is making education relevant. One thing which this pandemic has done very important for all of us is now education has got totally technology based. It has become open, it has become transparent, and everybody knows what is being taught, which way it is being taught, what are the contents which is being taught so well. We will talk about education in a little while, and heartiest congratulations to all the Indians wherever you are, because the new Education Policy 2020 and today's subject is going to be implication for quality teachers education. So we have got a Dr. Alok Gardia ji, who is joining us from Banaras Hindu University. We will have him in a little while. Before that, let me share a couple of slides, because every day we get lots of new participants from world over who come and join this particular program. So ladies and gentlemen, world over, wherever you are, let me start from Canada, United States and Latin America. Eastern Shore, Western Shore, Central part, whatsoever province, whatsoever city, whatsoever place you are in, we extend you a very hearty welcome. You must be going for your morning jog, morning walk. You must be having your cup of coffee or cup of tea, or you might be doing some yoga, some meditation, some naturopathy, or you might be doing some pranayam, whatsoever you enjoy, or might be making use of some best homemade or something in your residence itself, some equipment for your own health. Health and wellness. Wellness is more important than health, because people want to avoid hospitals. They always look forward to how to remain all right in a natural process. So from Canada, United States and Latin America, let me come post lunch. People have enjoyed their lunch in UK and the rest of the countries in the European Union. When I talk about the entire Europe, all my brothers and sisters, those are joining us, hearty welcome to each one of you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming for this particular program. And thanks for being strength and energy and synergy, all of us together. From Europe, let me bring you to Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan. Wonderful people are over there in Central Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful place. Whenever I travel, whenever we see the people over there, they're full of warmth. They're very, very nice people. From there, let's come to South Asia. And when I'm moving to Afghanistan, I come to Bhutan, I come to Nepal, I come to Sri Lanka, I go to Maldives, all the countries beautiful. And then, of course, we will come back to India also, because we believe in first giving love, affection, respect, everything to others. So I'm taking you around the world and then we come back. So from South Asia, I'm taking you to the Middle East. We get a lot of distinguished guests. That is from Doha, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Dubai. All of you, those are joining us, and Bahrain also. Geeta Chopra ma'am, how can I forget you and your husband and 200 plus families over there. Hearty welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for coming for these webinars. And now let me take you to 650 million population, beautiful population, 10 countries, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, and Vietnam, 10 countries. My God, what a wonderful people. And Vietnam, during this pandemic also, during this coronavirus also, it is the fastest growing economy in that particular region. They're doing extremely well. If you travel to Ho Chi Minh City, you will see something, a different world altogether. So ladies and gentlemen, hearty welcome to all our brothers and sisters from the ASEAN region also, ASEAN countries also, and let's go a little further down to Seoul. I know it's late in the evening, but still you are awake. Thank you very much for joining us from South Korea. And I go to Dr. Christie all the way to Taiwan and all other people, those are joining us from there. And it's quite late in the evening, but still you are with us from Japan, all the monks, and all my brothers and sisters, those are joining from different parts, Sapporo, Hokkaido, Kobe, Kyoto, Fukuoka, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and Tokyo, all the places, wherever you're joining from. Shivasanara Tirtatako, Shivasanara Taido de Shimmaso. Hearty welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us. And people, those are a little further, Dobrai Večer, Daragie Instituta Padalam Turizma, I Upravlenia, Bureauputit Shitsui, Razvistich Avast. Thank you very much for joining us from the different parts, the people who speak Russian language as well. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have all of you with us. And now let me come back to where from the Vasudev Kutumbakam starts. प्रणाम है आज की शाम, आप सबका बहुत बहुत हार्दिक स्वागत है, आपका अभिनंदन है और आपका अभिवादन है. और आज की शाम, that is on 21st of August, we extend a very hearty welcome to all our brothers and sisters in India. जिस भी राज्य में, जिस भी शहर में, जिस भी जगह में आप हैं, खुश रहिए, ठीक से रहिए. केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं, अपना ख्याल रखिए, अपने परिवार का ख्याल रखिए, अपने पड़ोसियों का ख्याल रखिए, अपने मोहल्ले के लोगों का ख्याल रखिए, अपने आसपास के जितने लोग हैं सबका ख्याल रखिए. Kindly take care of everybody, because if you take care of others, if your family is fine, if the community is fine, the India is fine. Cases are rising, please take care of. We got to be very, very careful, ladies and gentlemen. We are passing through difficult phases and all that, but India will overcome. We are very strong people. We are very dynamic people. So while extending a very hearty welcome to the people, yes, how can I forget African continent? People are joining us from South Africa. They're coming from Uganda. They're coming from Kenya. They're coming from Mozambique. They're coming from Senegal all the way. When I moved from British Columbia all the way over there from Canada, beautiful journey, beautiful people, wonderful people. Thanks for joining us this evening. And let me take you to Port Louis also, Mauritius, and then going to Seychelles. People are joining from world over. Hearty welcome. What a pleasure to have all of you. So the entire globe, entire world, one family. Your happiness is our happiness. Your pain is our pain. Every Indian is concerned, and we always look forward to everybody should be happy, and you should take care of your wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, our chamber since 1994, when we talk about the confluence of the non-resident Indians, the corporate and the government interface, the various policies, research, strategies, innovations, creativity, what all can be done in a services sector. Monday to Friday, during this pandemic, during this coronavirus, we are talking making education relevant. We share with you the new pedagogy, andragogy, and a couple of other things with all of us, what should be done in school education, higher education, technical education, vocational education, skills and competency-based education, and how basically the education should be relevant to our day-to-day life. Because the education which doesn't hold a practical part and a relevance in life is of no use. So thereby, we got to make the education relevant. So Monday to Friday, a lot of studies, a lot of deliberation, a lot of celebrations and brainstorming sessions. But every Saturday, we talk about your wellness. We talk about your health. And nowadays, children are using a lot of gadgets. They are using a lot of machines. So we talked with you how to avoid neck pain, how to avoid back pain, how to avoid spondylitis, how to avoid cervical, and at the same time, your eyes also should not strain. You've got to be taking care of your eyes as well. So keeping all that profile in mind, every Saturday, we talk about Ayurveda for the global wellness. We all understand and we know during this lockdown, the thought processes are affected. People think negative. Why do you think negative? Turn positive, think positive, talk positive, walk positive, dream positive, sleep positive, eat positive, everything positive, positive, no problems. Necessity is the mother of invention. And as the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji says, in all challenges, there are opportunities as well. During this lockdown, during this coronavirus, we will have many new opportunities. And the youngsters, I respect all of you. I salute all of you. I love all of you. It is the younger generation which is going to bring a change. It's a younger generation which is going to do wonders. It's a younger generation which is tomorrow. We must love, respect, and honor and appreciate the ideas and the creativity of the younger generation the best possible way. Give them the platform, give them the opportunity. And that's why we get five children every day in the evening to empower. They get globally connected with everybody. Now, ladies and gentlemen, second part, we know that your business is affected. Your physical and mental health is affected. And main part of the universe is the education is deeply affected at this point of time. But don't worry, the good days will come and technology is going to play a very important role. Adapt technology as soon as possible. Look at me at this age. I enjoy technology. I have started adopting artificial intelligence, augmented reality, Internet of Things, blockchain, and what all is coming up. I'm adopting everything. That is something very important. And don't forget, enjoy music. Asha Bhosle ji complimented the great playback singer. She complimented the Honorable Prime Minister, Education Minister, and the entire cabinet. And she said, now the engineering students can also take music as a subject. And the child who is studying commerce, they can take fashion designing. Music is a great therapy. Anybody who enjoys music, whether you sing, ya gungunate hain, ya humming karte hain, whatsoever you do, listen to music. Enjoy the music. Music works as a lubricant in your mind, in your soul, in your body. Music is very, very important. Even chanting of Vedas, mantras, and Upanishad, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, whatsoever you enjoy, whatsoever faith you have got, whatsoever religion you belong to, irrespective, enjoy the music therapy. And that's why initially, most of the Vedas, they were basically musical notes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, India believes in Vasudev Kutumbakam. We believe one world, one love, one family. So all of us together, please take care of yourself. Heartiest congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Education Minister, and all other stakeholders, those are in education fraternity in India, the new Education Policy 2020. It was long awaited. It took quite some time, but the Honorable Prime Minister of India has taken the bold decision. And can you imagine now the kids from the 6th class onward, they will learn coding. Kids will have internship. They will go for vocational. They will go for skills and competencies. And research and innovation is going to get so much of mileage. Now doing a PhD would also be so interesting. And particularly the teachers and people, those are coming into higher education. You've got a new norms, you've got a new pedagogy, and everything is coming up. So well, today's guest, he will discuss with us and he will tell us what exactly is there in the education system. Our chamber since morning, we start at 9 o'clock and we finish with this webinar at 9 o'clock. Every day, ladies and gentlemen, 12 hours non-stop service to the entire universe. Any educator, any teacher, any student, any person who needs any kind of a support, empowerment, encouragement, if you need anything from us, do let us know. We are there to support you. We are there to help you. And just I met a couple of days back somebody, and somebody asked me about the open school system. And it was so nice for me to understand. There are a lot of kids now, those are thinking that the 11th and 12th, if you do it from the open school, you can take the subjects of your choice, you can enjoy, you can study, you can do very well. And the best part is the mother supports the girl child so much. I'm so happy on that. But girls, please start understanding your father loves you more than your mother. Please ask your father. I love my daughter more. Okay, I hope my son is not listening. Okay. ICSI Chamber, when I talk about women empowerment. When we talk about women empowerment, ladies and gentlemen, it is so rightly said. When you educate a male member, you educate individual. But when you educate a girl child, you are educating 6, 7 next generations. Because she is going to perform so many roles. And she is the one. If she is empowered, the whole universe will change. So we have taken a pledge From our chamber, we are going to empower 5 young kids every evening in this webinar series. And I have decided, and so many other people have also decided with me. I'm so grateful to them. I'm so happy that they have joined this particular campaign with us. Till the time my last breath is, I want to dedicate to education empowerment, because I have understood ultimately it is education and only education which can bring peace, prosperity, happiness, growth, whatsoever you want to think on this earth planet. If you want peace, because for that matter you have to understand why not to remain peacefully, why to disturb somebody, why to have war, why to unnecessarily have these things. So destruction can be avoided when the positive thoughts are, and the positive thoughts will come when knowingly, consciously the knowledge is being imparted to you and you understand what is the purpose of education. Purpose of education is not only economic, is social, is cultural, and it is personal as well. The fourth part, when we take into consideration, and that all has to be considered, ladies and gentlemen. Let me move now. We started this campaign, we started this journey on 5th of June. Why 5th of June? Because world over, our chamber, when we collected the research and we collected the synthesis, we came to know that the next misunderstanding world over is going to be on water crisis. There is going to be a water scarcity. There is going to be water shortage. People will not have drinking water. The water levels will go down. And for cultivation, people, those are growing rice today too much, they would realize that point of time and they will come to know what are the difficulties when you're growing only rice and how much water is being consumed when you are growing only rice. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to share with all of you that kindly save every drop of water at your residence, outside in your school, in your college, in your institution, in cinema hall, in shopping malls, in public toilets, in public places, utility, factories, wherever you are, save every drop of water. Think about those people, those have to walk kilometers and kilometers, miles and miles they have to travel to fetch just one pitcher of the water. So thereby, let's have, there is no shortage of even food in this world. The only problem is that the redistribution and equal distribution has to be done, because it's a pity. Some of the people, they waste food, and some of the people, they sleep without food. So God, wherever you are, whosoever you are, the nature, the cosmos, I request you, let's bring more equality in this universe. Let people, good sense should prevail, that we should take care of others also, not only about ourselves. So Jal hi Jeevan hai. Jal Sanrakshan is very important. Water conservation is very important. And we started this webinar series, Making Education Relevant, on 5th of June during this pandemic. And ladies and gentlemen, when I share with you, I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to Venerable Dr. Dhammapiyaji. He is the International Buddhist Confederation head as a Secretary General, who is getting the international faculty. And there is a 500 million plus population of Buddhism followers world over. So these people, they come, they share the thought process, because ultimately the goal is making education relevant. And there we talk about what is Buddha's philosophy and what is the relevance of Buddha's philosophy in today's education system. If you are interested, I've watched more than 60 videos. There's a serial being produced by Mr. Modi. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I'm talking about different Modi, the Spice Telecom owner. So, if you are interested to know more about Buddhism, if you want to get this kind of a Buddham Saranam Gacchami, then tomorrow morning, 9:30, Saturday morning, hearty welcome to each one of you. You can come directly in the webinar, or you can come on Facebook, Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page. All of us, those have come as a panelist and those have come over here to speak and share the thought process with us, kindly open your Facebook also, open Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page, open your watch party, invite your friends, share with your friends. By the time I finish this presentation, your friends from the world over, let them get also connected with this webinar, because aim is knowledge is to be shared. Information is to be shared. Let's empower more and more people world over. Excuse me. Coming Saturday evening, tomorrow evening. So when I talk about Saturday evening, ladies and gentlemen, Ayurveda, that means for your wellness, we talk about yoga, meditation, herbal medicine, naturopathy, organic farming, and all boys and girls, those are with their parents and respective homes. I would request you, I would make a humble request to you, start growing organic vegetables. I have started growing from 25th of March onward. Right, my rooftop, I have got all vegetables. Right, my outside, wherever I am finding any corner, I am growing my own organic vegetables. So when Professor Saab was telling me in the 70th year, how do I carry positivity and this energy of a 20-year-old boy? This is all because of my lifestyle. This is all because what you put inside in your body, you don't realize. When you take that junk food, when you take that cold storage food, when you take that fridge food, when you take that chilled water, and when you take those coffee after coffee, coffee after coffee, you don't know what coffin you're creating inside. All that junk what you're putting in your body. If you want to look smart like that smart girl who is sitting right over here, self-love. And when she's doing the meditation, if you want to look smart like her, then ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be taking care of your body. Nobody might be seeing you. Mom is not seeing, dad is not seeing, brother is not seeing, sister is not seeing. And you go to the fridge and you pick up a big bowl of the ice cream from there. You don't know what is that. It is an ice and it is a cream. Whatever you put inside the fridge, you do not know what harm it's doing to your body. All these years, I maintain one thing, I got to be taken care of. I do not eat anything which has been cooked more than 3 hours before. Fresh cooking, right before when I want to eat, it should not be more than 3 hours late. And secondly, no fridge item. Thirdly, no cold item. Everything lukewarm, lukewarm, lukewarm. Then you see the body energy. Your body is not meant for those kind of things, what we are doing in the storage. And at the same time, if you try and take organic, your body will remain, you will remain fit. Only one thing will remain till end with you, that is your body. And if you don't take care of your body, you're doing biggest blunder and a harm on this planet. Please take care of your health. It is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, let's come further. Sunday morning. Sunday is a beautiful day. I love Sunday. No holiday on Sunday. Sunday is more productive. Sunday, I have got more output. Whatever is the backlog? Who created Sunday? Who told that there should be a Sunday? And why have we? Because people came here to rule. People came here to enjoy. I'm sorry for all those people those are watching in Europe. But let me share with you. They came here on a honeymoon. They came here on a holidays. They came here to enjoy. They just built up the hill station. All the schools on the hill stations only. Why? Because they wanted to have a peaceful and a wonderful and enjoyable holidays. And Sunday being created. Okay, fine. You want to have a holiday Sunday? Great. Have a holiday on Sunday. This Sunday, take a pledge. Nobody will go to toilet. I'll put a lock outside your toilet. Nobody will go to toilet. Let me see. Sunday, no toilet. Nobody will have output on Sunday because today is Sunday. Sunday, no breakfast, no lunch, no dinner. And also, Sunday, you will not consume any oxygen. No inhaling, no exhaling. Let's see. So, if you are doing that Kriya, and if you are doing everything on Sunday, so listen, gentlemen, everything is Sunday. Every day is a Sunday, and every day is a Monday, and every day is a Tuesday. Whenever your body tells you that you should take some rest, take rest. But do not observe that way and make a mental faculty. Today is Sunday. I personally feel, have you seen the Honorable Prime Minister of India taking even one holiday from the day he has taken over the responsibility? Not even one day I have heard. He doesn't want to have even a single fraction of second being unspent, unutilized anywhere. That is the purpose of life. There are two important days in your life. One is your birthday, happy birthday when you came to this world. And the second important day in your life is when you come to know, why have you come to this world? What are you doing in this world? What can you do with this world? And what you should do in this world before you disappear from here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's very important. So every Sunday morning, 9:30, day after tomorrow morning, we just finished with Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all the 18 chapters. Now you would say, Dr. Sharma, you're talking about religion and all. No, I'm talking about the Indian Vedas. I'm talking about India's Upanishad. I'm talking about, they carry so much of information which is relevant to today's education system. Strategies, management, innovation, creativity, collaboration, creative thinking, innovative thinking, logical thinking, positive thinking, all that comes from Upanishad, and that Vidya se Adhyatam Vidya ki aur. I would request each one of you, do join us on Sunday morning at 9:30. The professor comes all the way from America. If he can remain awake late in the evening to share the thought process with us, he has dedicated last 30 years. He is the professor who got the Best Management Professor Teacher Award in America. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Satendra Dhiman, Woodbury University from Burbank, California, he shares with all of us what is the purpose of India's Upanishads. Come Sunday evening, 5 p.m. Wonderful timings. People are having dinner in ASEAN, and that is the time we take you India, ASEAN together with a focus of Northeast India. When you talk about Northeast part of India, the Honorable Prime Minister of India calls it Ashta Lakshmi. There are 8 beautiful states. You've got Tripura, you've got Manipur, you've got Meghalaya, you've got Assam, Mizoram, Arunachal, Nagaland, Sikkim. All the beautiful states what we have got in that particular region, ladies and gentlemen, these 8 beautiful states. And now, during this coronavirus, once things improve, you got to take a trip to the Northeast. Travel it for yourself, see it for yourself. I've been associated for last 42 years with that region. I started my life, my career, my first rank of the Indian Army, and my first uniform and everything from the Northeast. I love Northeast. The people are wonderful. They are very, very nice people. Try and see Northeast. You should take a domestic travel instead of taking international travel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, micro, small, and medium enterprise. What are we doing with this? Because come back again, making education relevant. Making education relevant. There is a purpose of education. So the people, those want to have startup, people those want to start their own business, people those want to stand up, people those want to be self-employed, people those want to be their own boss, they got to get into micro, small, and medium enterprise. Our chamber is so happy. We are so grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Ministry, and at the same time, the Finance Minister of India, Nirmala Sitharamanji, the other day, she announced, ladies and gentlemen, now the micro, small, and medium enterprise has brought the manufacturing sector and the services sector at par with each other. They are together. How? Whatever privileges and perks and the platform was given to manufacturing sector, that is given to now services sector also. Both have been brought at par. We are so happy because our chamber had been knocking the doors of the Ministry of MSME together for years together. We are grateful to the Secretary, Ministry of MSME, Additional Secretary and Development Commissioner, and the entire fraternity over there. They have been very, very supportive, and the service industry, roadmap, action plan, white papers, whatever we have been submitting from time to time, innovative strategies they accepted, and finally the MSME saw the daylight. And I'm grateful to Shri Rabindranath ji, the former CMD with the NSIC of the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise. With our chamber, he brings the yodhas, he brings the warriors of the micro, small and medium enterprise every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Like today, 7 p.m. we started, that is the way. And I just want to encourage every girl child world over, every girl child, proud of our girls, proud of our daughters, proud of our children. This little girl, she was studying in Canada. She finished her studies. She came back to India. She set up the startup. And this particular child, Chinmay Kusnoor, she is the founder of Khadi Kavach. When you talk about Khadi Kavach, during this coronavirus, she is providing Khadi made, pure cotton made, the kind of a protection what is needed at this point of time Khadi sustainability. Her email ID is also there. Her website is also there. Those of us, those are interested to reach her, you're more than welcome. I'm going to say, I want more and more girls studying in Canada, coming back to India, setting up a startup over here, starting something with Khadi, starting something pure on the micro, small and medium enterprise, and becoming a startup. My heartiest and deepest of blessings and congratulations to this little child. She's doing wonderful. God bless her. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the complete panorama what ICSI is doing from morning till evening. This is the last slide, which I wish to share with all of you before I introduce today's main guest and my 5 celebrities, also my children, those are joining us. Whatsoever human mind, very important slide for all of us, excuse me. Whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe. Everyone, wherever you are world over, start conceiving new ideas. Your mind is very fertile. Your mind is very creative. Start thinking about why people say think out of the box. Because always think something new, something creative, something out of the box. So ladies and gentlemen, whatever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That is something very important. Let's come together, making education relevant, global confluence of educators, motivators, technocrats, and counselors. ICSI-International Chamber for Service Industry extends you a very hearty welcome this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Should you wish to become a panelist over here, or you want to be one of the girls to come over here to share your views with the entire universe, you're more than welcome. You can come, you can write an email to us at innovation@icsi.asia, or you can also send a WhatsApp to us. Both the numbers are listed over here. We would be more than happy to get the people from world over who can be a part of this particular process. ये मुझे मणिकर्णिका का एक गाना बड़ा याद आता है, देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए, सिलसिला ये बाद मेरे यूं ही चलना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए. What a beautiful words by Prasanna Joshi ji, and what a beautiful voice, and what a beautiful, the South Indian. You should find out the person who has sung this particular song. I'm gonna say I'm a fan of that man. So much of emotions he's carrying, because I come from the armed forces background and I can understand that what exactly emotions have been put into that song. There are many other patriotic songs, but that is one of the latest songs. And all my young boys and girls, wherever you are, sing those songs, think about those songs, play those songs, start feeling what the Honorable Prime Minister of India is telling. Think, look global, see global, but act local. And then whatsoever is there, start promoting your local to the global. That is the way you should work out and you should plan it out. So ladies and gentlemen, this evening is a wonderful evening. On 21st of August 2020, I extend a very hearty welcome to these 5 kids of mine. She is Adhishri, she is Prisha, she is Prita, she is Janavi, and she is Shriya. What a beautiful name for my children. God bless them, God bless their parents, God bless their family, and God bless all the women folk and all the girl child in this country, wherever you are, world over, all the girls. We send you our salutation, regards. Bring wonders, do creative things, and never stop. Do something unique. And ladies and gentlemen, here is the warrior of the evening, this evening, Dr. Alok Gardia ji. He is the Associate Professor, Faculty of Education, Banaras Hindu University. A very hearty welcome to Dr. Alok Gardia ji. He has served fellowship under Indo-Hungarian Educational Exchange Program as a visiting fellow in the Atmos Lorend University, Faculty of Primary and Preschool Education, Budapest in Hungary. He delivered a resource lecture on an overview of Indian education system in Hungary, in the university over there, to the Faculty of Primary and the Preschool Education. He delivered a resource lecture on right to education in India in Faculty of Child and Adult Education, University of Debrecen, Hungary. Great. Total research papers. Oh, he has published a lot of research paper. There are 70 research publications. He has authored 3 books. He has supervised 3 extra projects, more than 80 seminars and conferences in India and abroad. And he has also produced 7 PhDs. Hearty welcome to him. Area of specialization, sociology of education, with specific interest in citizenship education, English pedagogy, and contemporary issues in education research methodology. Ladies and gentlemen, we extend a very hearty welcome to Dr. Alok Gardia ji this evening. And at the same time, let me also share with all of you, ladies and gentlemen, while extending a hearty welcome to him, that we are grateful to Inter-University Center for Teacher Education in Varanasi, because Honorable Professor Dr. Tripathi ji, who is the director over there, is doing a yeoman service to the humanity, because empowering educator is very challenging, particularly with the new education policy. So I extend a very hearty welcome to Dr. Alok Gardia ji. I would request you to kindly unmute your mic, Dr. Sahab. And after unmuting your mic, you can share your vision. Hearty welcome to you, Dr. Sahab. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And right from Hungary, right from Budapest, we will get back you to Banaras Hindu University, and we will also link you somewhere with the Inter-University Center, what we have got in Varanasi, such an innovative for teacher, empowerment, teacher education. So this evening, on the new education policy which has come 2020, because the whole world and all Indians everywhere, everybody is celebrating and congratulating and jubilating. They are talking about the new education policy. I would request you that with your vision, with your expertise, with your international exposure, and what all we are doing at present over here, kindly share your vision with the entire global fraternity. People are joining us on the Facebook, on the watch party from the different countries. And all my 5 children, those have joined here, I've already requested you, open your watch parties and open your, what do you call, Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page on the Facebook. Share with your friends also. Let more and more people take a benefit of Dr. Alok Gardia ji's presentation this evening. With these words, Dr. a very hearty welcome to you. Pleasure to have you this evening with us. And we would request you to kindly share your thought process with all of us. With these words, Dr. Alok Gardia ji.
Thank you, Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji, and I am immensely pleased to find myself in this forum, which is working in almost all the domain of progressive human living. I appreciate your own lifestyle also, the way you are nurturing yourself and also inspiring a global community. It is very praiseworthy and inspiring. And looking to the activities also, I am so happy that today I got the opportunities to have an interaction with this global community. And now I come to the topic. As you all know that India has come up with the National Education Policy 2020 after a gap of 34 years. Last policy came in 1986, and today, after a gap of 34 years, we have a national education policy. And definitely, it has a lot of provisions that will bring a lot of changes in the coming future. Today, at present, we can only see what are the provisions and what are the challenges to implement this policy, and we have to witness what changes it is coming, what as a teacher we can do to implement this policy, and let us see how the coming world come up, how the coming India comes in a more vibrant flavor. Let us begin. I would like to share my screen.
Yeah, Dr. Sahab, it's wonderful. Let's start.
Yeah. The topic of my presentation is National Education Policy 2020 Implications for Quality Teacher Education. Here, implication, like every policy, has a lot of implications to a student, to a teacher, to school management, to policy perspective in the country in relation with present societal needs. So many things are there. But today we will be discussing on the domain of different quality education and with specific reference to quality teacher education. Indian policy perspective, very nutshell, I would discuss. Far before a landmark document came in Indian policy, that is Kothari Commission's report entitled as Education and National Development. It said about education that the destiny of the country is being shaped in its classroom. A wonderful statement that even today we share with our graduate, postgraduate, and doctoral students, that how much prominence education has, that it can bring change in the country at a larger level. Then National Policy of Education came in 1986 under the prime ministerialship of Shri Rajiv Gandhi, where it is once again a lot of importance is given to teacher, and it is proclaimed that no nation can rise above the level of its teachers. So if you want to see what is the level of teacher in a nation in different domains of human living, you see the level of its teacher, it determines the level of the nation. So very visionary statement here, policy statement which guided the entire country. And today if I see National Education Policy 2020, after a gap of 34 years, just a few days back, I was reading John Dewey, and I found that this statement aptly describes that what we are looking for through this policy. That if we teach today's student as we taught yesterday's, we robe them for tomorrow. So the policy does not intend to robe a student of tomorrow, but it wants to prepare it for the coming generation, for the coming challenges, and it wants to overcome all the barriers for in the path of national progress, so that India may come in more vibrant color and be very developed country very soon. Very swiftly, some changes it has brought that I would like to put before you. I hope this must have been discussed so many times in this forum, that now we are focusing a structure of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 from foundational stage to secondary stage. Now you see the shift of teaching methods, teaching approach with each stage. I will take you to the highest stage, that is multidisciplinary study, critical thinking, flexibility, and student choice of subject. Just Dr. Sharma was telling that now engineering student can study music, a commerce student can study fine arts. So this policy has almost broken down the compartmentalization of the disciplines, and definitely it has a lot of repercussions for Indian education system, which needs rapid changes with the contribution of teachers and other stakeholders. Now, I would take some policy goals which are given in this policy, and along with we will discuss how these policy goals can be achieved. One of the major policy goal, which is still a far-fetched dream in Indian education system, once again it is repeated, that is universalization of education from preschool to secondary level with 100% gross enrollment ratio in school education by 2030. And also this policy envisions that it will bring 2 crore out of school children back into the mainstream. Two major policy goals that India is striving hard to achieve for the last 74 years since it got freedom. What are the challenges that even after 74 years we could not achieve it? What are those bottlenecks that we are not able to achieve this status? It is really a serious concern. When I uh, scan the reasons and the challenges in certain domains, I can define it like there are reasons related with society. There is absence of social norms. Especially, we say that India lives in villages. 70 to 75% of our population is living in village. And now when we say village, it means poverty is there. It means social divisions are there. Class struggle is there. And out of that, it fails to develop a feeling in every family that we need to educate our child. There is no social norm that education should be rated primarily, and our whole focus should be to provide education to our sons and daughters. This social norm is absent, although there is improvement in this, but still a lot of scope to develop these social norms. Then social exclusion of a particular community. Many of my friends must be from our own country, India, and they must be familiar with the social fabric of our country. It has a Varna system, and there is a lot of class division in our country on the basis of where they have taken birth. Although no corner of the globe, I feel it is free from this. Lot of prejudices do exist on certain grounds in almost all the countries of the world, I feel, and India has its own social parameters. So, if you see historically, social exclusion of a particular community for the provisions of education is also one of the reasons that particular segment of our society is still very far in the level of education, whether it is literacy or in the higher education. Then poor social positioning, low parental perception. Here, low parental perception, especially in petty manual workers and such class of parents who are to earn their livelihood through some manual skills. जैसे बनारस में बुनकर हैं, carpenters हैं, many other manual workers are there who feel that more children, it means more working hands in the family. So they don't feel to have a big size family, that it is affecting our financial status, but they take it as one more working hand for us. So it is definitely one of the reason, and children cannot afford to go to school when their presence is more useful and necessary from the point of view of family. This is also one of the reason. In order to overcome this challenge, midday meal scheme was launched in 1995 on 15th of August. But this scheme is good to bring the child in the school, but the sustenance is severely affected. And what I observe in the school, that most of the poor children, they eat their food and go back to school. The entire focus of a school becomes giving food to students instead giving them quality education. So somehow the mandate of MDM, midday meal scheme, is not being served, what I feel. There are some other reasons also related with the teachers. Teachers, we all know that they are the heart of any education system. In the policy statement of TEP 2020, it is said that teachers and educators are the heart of any education system. So if a system is not working, somewhere there are problems with the education system. And most importantly, if there are no teachers in the school, if the standard minimum standard norms of number of teacher is not being maintained in the school, teachers are there but they are not going to the school. They feel pride that I am working in that school, but I have my own settlement, and I need not to go to school daily. There may be some malpractice, there may be some local hooliganism or something, or disinterest or something. So this is also one of the factor that it is contributing to poor scenario of school education in our country, and very importantly, inefficiency of our teachers. Indifference and inefficiency. Teachers are indifferent to provide quality education to their students. They try to run away what is defined task for them. Once one of the president came to India and he has made a very famous remark on Indian workers. Unfortunately, it is very. It has been said, and but I want to quote him here that Indians want much work, but if they want work, once they got the work, they tend to run away from it. I should not say Indians, but it is a basic human tendency. So this also need to be removed. That is teacher indifference to quality education, teacher inefficiency to tackle the challenges related to subject, related to teaching methodology, and other emerging demands. Faulty techniques of teaching, poor pedagogy, we will discuss further in this presentation. Corporal punishment. Although many regulations have been made in India that bans corporal punishment by the teachers, but still even today teachers have the mindset that without this a student cannot be disciplined. If a teacher is doing some activity in the classroom, obviously it will create some initial chaos. Obviously, students will talk. Obviously, a student in the initial phase will be asking many questions, will be asking to their friends. There may be initial chaos, but outside, if someone is listening, there is a lot of noise from the classroom. It feels that class is indisciplined. So why teacher is not able to control, and what is the evidence of control of teacher in the classroom, that all the students are sitting silently, there is no voice from the class and only teacher is telling. This orthodox mindset is still existing, and many teachers are there with the mindset of corporal punishment. Still it is happening. And last year one of the minister of our state, he said that without cane a student cannot remain disciplined. So it is a very serious concern. Sometime I asked poor fellows, like a few years back I was talking to a rickshaw puller, that why you left schooling. He said that once my teacher punished me so bitterly, since then I never went to school because of fear of corporal punishment. So it is not talk of yesterday that our schools are free from it, but even today, teachers have this mindset and it is busy. And then poor functioning of a school. One challenge in the light of this policy, that is recruitment of teacher. If you see the policy goals that are stated here, accomplishing this over 15 years will require the setting up of around 50 schools every week. If we want to implement this policy, we have to establish 50 schools every week and appoint at least 50 headmasters every single week. and at least 200 to 300 teachers every single week we have to appoint to meet the challenge of this policy concerning attainment of 100% gross enrollment ratio. Can we appoint 300 teachers weekly? Where in most of the states of our country, teacher appointment is lingering, it is taking a very long route. A lot of channels are there, cases are pending in the court. There is a question paper leak, there are no interviews, there are no tests being happening, and teacher appointment is taking much time. So can we appoint 200, 300 teachers every week to meet this challenge? It is a very big question. Then the challenges related to girls' education. It is also a known fact concerning our country that status of girls' education is very poor than education of boys. Still, there is gender gap of 21.7%. 3/4 of out of school children are girls. Condition becomes more serious when you see in the context of rural India. In primary education, we have attained a universal access to primary schooling. Now, almost 100% habitat of our country has a primary school in the radius of 1 kilometer. But it is not such a case in secondary school, in higher secondary school, and forget about higher education. So a girl is sent to a school because a primary school is there in the vicinity. But as she grows and there is need to send the girl far to attend a secondary school, they are not sending. Why? Because of security concern on security of girls. So it is creating serious issues for the education of girls, and this issue becomes more serious when we grow a higher level of schooling or higher education. Some girls help parent in earning their livelihood. Low parental perception of schooling of girls, dowry. The people sitting in Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, metro cities, they may feel that it is not such an issue. But if you see rural sector, even many urban sector, we may say that now there is no issue like dowry, but it is somehow very strongly existing in our social system even today. And what parents feel that if my child, my girl will be more educated, then more dowry I have to give. So they are restricting their girls' education. They give a lot of money for education of their son, but they save money for the girls to give dowry. If not looking after younger one, many times if both are laborers, even a father is going for manual works, mother is going for manual works. So as soon as the girl child becomes 5 years old or 6-year-old, she becomes the second mother in the sense that she will look after the younger ones in the family. So these are the challenges to achieve this policy goal. Then there is challenge related to our curriculum. Hardly any relevance to children's lives, their needs and problems. Students live in certain geographical corner with their own local needs, but when they go to their classroom and the content which is taught is away from their local context. Though I appreciate the effort of present government and the previous government, effort of NCRT, SCRT in the textbook development, that this particular element is being attended very seriously. And now, out of constructivist textbook writing, we are bringing our students' context in our textbook. But still, it exists in such a scenario where students are living in far nook corners of our country. They find it irrelevant to their lives, their needs, their problems. We are talking of coding, we are talking of artificial intelligence, we are talking of computers, softwares. For a small student who is going to such a school where there is no roof, where there is no place to sit, and where you cannot reach to a school because in the rainy season because it is entirely waterlogged. One of my student got appointment in rural school. He came to me to get my blessing. I asked, "Is there a holiday in your school?" Well, no, sir. It's rainy season. Then why? Then why you are not going to school? He said that it is the school in such a place that it cannot be reached in rainy season. Entirely from all sides, it is waterlogged. So, how they will learn coding and artificial intelligence and computer and other technology? We have to be very optimistic that many other students can learn. But for that student, going to school is a meaningless experience for him. Similarly, parents find education meaningless. Unfriendly pedagogy. Teachers are ill-equipped and ill-trained. They feel that this child-centered method, this joyful method, all these are we learn in B.Ed classes, are there in the books. These are not to be implemented. Class 1 teacher, a primary teacher teaches his student the way a university professor teaches to a graduate and postgraduate students. Unfriendly pedagogy, a lot of expectation from students, and just they are lecturing in the school, and every talk of joyful learning is only in the workshops, in the seminars, in the webinars, and in such artificial place where we are talking of much joyful learning. Then absence of quality education in schools and lot of curriculum load. Curriculum load is also one of the issue. In present pandemic time, CBSE has reduced 30% of curriculum. Somehow it is a meek acceptance that where they loaded 30% extra, that 30% curriculum is reduced. We have to work on that direction, that where we may ease curriculum load. And I appreciate this policy NEP 2020 because it talks of running away from the rote learning. It talks of creative thinking, critical thinking. It talks of development of problem solving ability. It talks of life skill education. It talks of vocational education. So all this will help students, and most importantly, it talks of internship in vocational education. 10 school bag less day means 10 days they will come without their school bag, and they will visit their vicinity to be friendly with their environment. They will visit an industry as a part of their vocational education internship. So it is there. Those were the challenges related with achieving 100% gross enrollment ratio by 2030. Another policy goal stated in NEP 2020 is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 school curriculum with 12 years of schooling, and major shift is concerning ECCE, Early Childhood Care and Education, which is now presently in Article 45 of our Constitution, because prior provision is shifted to Article 21, making elementary education as fundamental right. But now in Article 45, it is early childhood care and education. Now, if I see early childhood care and education, it is the poorest and the weakest link of our school education system. How? Some research-based observation I find out that I want to share with all of you. In elementary education, there is dominance of private schools in our country. But if you see preschool education or early childhood care and education, it is entirely in the hands of private sector. If you want quality preschooling, it is entirely in the hands of private sector. But if this policy envisions the active role of Anganwadis, I want to tell my global audience that Anganwadi is an initiation of Government of India as a center for preschooling. Their nutritional needs and their initial primary learning related to numbers, related to letters, alphabet, and most importantly, nutrition, health and hygiene. So these Anganwadi centers are there, which are in very pathetic condition. Some observation I am sharing here related to it is a part of a research study that Anganwadis are in a droughty situation. In one of the observations, it was found there was no heating in the winter system. In the chilly weather, they are sitting. Even in the winter, the only source of light in the small house is a lamp torch that a neighbors donated. Anganwadi workers are in a serious condition, and their services are being employed in non-academic works. Once again, I appreciate National Education Policy 2020 because it talks of removing all the teachers from non-academic duties except election duties. Otherwise, our today's Anganwadi and primary school teachers are employed for counting cattle in the village. गांव में कितने पशु हैं इसकी भी गिनती का काम टीचर्स को दे दिया जाता है इन द पल्स पोलियो इन काउंटिंग एनिमल्स इन द विलेज सो you can imagine the condition of teacher. So what is the condition of Anganwadi? The ground is dusty underneath the thin blanket the Anganwadi's helper had laid out. The kids, most of whom are barefoot, most of them are barefoot and aren't told to wash their hands before playing or eating. I would like to share the finding of a 2016 study, an assessment of a state in Odisha found that 85% of the Anganwadis did not have designated building for the daily functioning. Even if in the 15% if a building is there, it is very dingy, it is dark, there is no ventilation and it is in serious condition. And that the centers had a severe lack of water, toilet and electricity facilities as well as little in the way of play material, all of which resulted in a lack of faith among the beneficiaries in the rural community and also in the urban community. I do not know any parent in my known for the past so many years, I can say, who have sent their ward to attend Anganwadi. Even a laborer, even a carpenter, a petty workers, very poor sector, they are sending a private preschool center, relatively better, but they are not at par with they are far better than the Anganwadi. So can we rely the realization of foundational stage where 3 years of early childhood care and education is being envisioned with the help of this Anganwadi, lot of work government has to do. So it is there. Coming to another policy goal, that is emphasis on foundational literacy and numeracy, no rigid separation between academic streams, extracurricular, and most importantly, vocational streams in schools. From class 6th onwards, now there is provision of vocational education for the students. And what type of vocational education they'll give? Some kind of initiation to manual works, making them familiar to their world of work. Now again, if I see how we can implement this particular goal, I would like to share that in public schools in India are facing a dearth of teacher, which makes quality education a far cry for children. Says a study conducted by Child Rights NGO, there is a shortage of more than 5 lakh teachers in elementary schools, and 14% of government secondary schools do not have the prescribed minimum of 6 teachers, the report says. So I am not saying that this policy cannot be implemented. Just I am highlighting the issues that we as a teacher, we as a stakeholder, we as a educational manager, we as a policy planners, and we as having a strong stakeholder to implement the quality education, we have to overcome this. We have to work on these directions. So we should know what it is, a sort of diagnosis of the problem. Unless there is diagnosis of the problem, we cannot cure our problem. So I request you to take as diagnosis of the problem so that the problem can be cured. Another study by CRI, Child Rights and You, and the Budget and Governance Accountability found that across the 6 states, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh together account for more than 4.2 lakhs of vacant posts. Those from India must know the concept of Bimaru states, that there are certain states of our country who are not doing well in the indicators of social development. So there the condition of teacher recruitment is also very poor, and the appointment of teacher is very far. And Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, which are basically southern states, do fairly well in this regard, as they have recruited in almost 95% of the sanctioned post at the elementary level. It is a very one of the healthy scenes. So if you see the scene of elementary education in our country, there is lot of regional disparity. At one hand there is Kerala, at another hand there is Bihar. The indicators of quality schooling is very nice in Kerala, whereas in Bihar or in Uttar Pradesh or in Odisha, it is just reverse. Why is it so? It is a different issue and it needs a separate attention. Here I would not like to tell it. So we have to see those challenges, how we can adopt foundational literacy and other competence related to elementary schooling and vocational education. Concerning vocational education, there are some challenges, like the demand supply mismatch of job market. We may teach certain vocational school to our students, but it may be taken up as only a learning activity. It may be taken up just giving opportunity to a student to have some work experience, a sort of extracurricular, or you may say co-curricular activities, but we cannot expect that they will meet the demands of job market. Here I once again appreciate National Education Policy 2020, because it says that now coding will be taught from class 6th onwards, looking to the demands of job market. Artificial intelligence will be taught, computer programming will be taught, and carpentry, artistry, and other manual works will be taught, where a student may initiate towards vocational world of their future life. Poor perception and public mindset. It is also one of the challenge to adopt vocational education, that particularly students who are coming from well-to-do families, they feel that learning any manual work is derogatory for them, whereas it gives a lot of inner satisfaction. If a small child makes a bucket best out of waste, if they participate in some kind of work activity, it gives inner satisfaction. They may not adopt it as a profession, But we have to teach this to our students, to our parents, that it is a really good activity and they should send their words for that. Inadequate academia and industry linkage. That what industry demands. I happen to be the coordinator of placement cell in our faculty, and I organized on-campus interviews of many reputed schools in our faculty. And during the interview, I get the feedback from schools that, sir, we are not getting the stuff that we are aspiring for. Today, my school teaching has been drastically changed, and our teacher education programs are not well equipped to train our students in the light of demands of today's school. They are not able to run a smart class. They are not able to operate an interactive board. They are not able to handle several gadgets, technical gadgets. And now in the pandemic era, taking class through Google Meets, through Zoom, through other virtual forums, and a new domain is coming up, that is digital pedagogy. Digital pedagogy, that how student teachers will adopt a digital pedagogy for their students. So what is happening, that B.Ed is a professional program definitely, but we are not preparing teachers in light of industry demand. We are not inviting school principals to our teacher education departments so that they can interact with the B.Ed students. Lack of proper infrastructure. Now, this policy demands serious vocational education in the school, then definitely we have to earmark at least 1 or 2 rooms with proper gadgets, with proper space, with proper provision of work experience that students can work there. It is very much needed. And then lack of autonomy. It is also one of the reason that schools should be given more autonomy so that they can context specific work experience they can give to their students. Like a student sitting in Manipur, they have different world of work. Students sitting in Andaman Nicobar, students sitting in Bangalore, Bengaluru, students sitting in Delhi, students sitting in Ladakh. Their world of work is very much different. So that autonomy schools must have, that they can context specific vocational courses they can introduce in their school. These are the challenges, or these are the issues that we have to address in order to successfully implement vocational education in our schools. Another important recommendation this policy has made that I would like to appreciate once again, that is teaching in mother tongue. Teaching up to at least grade 5 to be in mother tongue regional language. There is lot of praise of this policy concerning mother tongue and recognition to local tribal language and regional language. But when I read the policy, this phrase, wherever possible word is added concerning the provision of implementation of this provision related to mother tongue and the folk language. Wherever possible it will be done. So here I need this clarification that wherever possible, teaching in the home local language wherever possible, conducting more experiential language learning, the hiring of outstanding local artists, writers, craft person, and other experts as master instructor in various subjects of local expertise. A very nice way that the local expertise will be tackled, as I told, in Manipur, in Bengaluru, in Ladakh, in Andaman Nicobar, in far corner of Gujarat. it is very nice, but this wherever possible word is written, it is creating, it is raising eyebrows that how it will be decided that it is possible or it is not possible. There may be some scapegoats that it was not possible, hence it was not done. Accurate inclusion of traditional Indian knowledge, including tribal and other knowledge throughout into the curriculum across humanities, social science, arts, crafts, and sports. Wherever possible, it is in continuous, a separate bullet is given, but wherever possible is here also. So this policy demands such a teacher who are well versed with the local tribal language and other local knowledge, those who can come to the school and they can provide this knowledge to students. In order to meet this challenge, a concept of mentoring is also given in this policy, that a national mission of mentoring will be established, especially for such kind of skills where teachers are not available, concerning this tribal language and other local language and other local works, whenever relevant, and a much greater flexibility in the curriculum, especially in secondary schools and higher education, so that the students can choose the ideal balance among courses and themselves to develop their own creative, artistic, cultural, and academic path. This is also one of the saying. So I was telling about the national mission of mentoring, that wherever our workforce is not there, this policy demands strong community involvement, a strong alumni network, and a strong local support, NGO support to implement certain criteria which are uh, where the resources are not available, how to meet the resources. So these are the things. Operationalization of race wherever possible. This is another paragraph from the same policy. Wherever possible, the medium of instruction until at least grade 5, but preferably till grade 8 and beyond, will be the home language, mother tongue, local language, regional language. Thereafter, the home local language shall continue to be taught as a language wherever possible, wherever possible. So I have my own observation to this phrase, that because of this it is difficult to maintain the spirit of this recommendation, that how we will adopt a home language, mother tongue, local language, regional language, because if it was possible or not. So this is the issue, and in cases where home language, mother tongue, textbook material is not available, the language of transaction between teacher and student will still remain the home language, mother tongue, wherever possible. So you can see why I identified this phrase and putting to all of you for global thinking, that this word we all have to think of. Let us proceed further. Another important policy goal, it is described, is GER in higher education to be raised to 50% by 2035. Presently, it is somewhere around 25 to 26%. This policy envisions that by 2035, we will attain 50% of GER. Let us do diagnosis, that what are the challenges. Now, this policy goal demands that 3.5 crore seats have to be added in higher education. Are we ready to introduce the 3.5 crore seats in our higher education system under acute financial shortage, under acute resource shortage, and under pandemic era where our financial resources are limited? I would like to quote answer given by Honorable Minister of Human Resource, or now I should say Minister of Education. that there are more than 920 universities in India. Most of these universities have been facing acute shortage of teaching or faculty staff. As per official figure of Ministry of HRD, now Ministry of Education, at present there are total 1,77,235 sanctioned teaching posts are lying vacant across the universities in our country. So 1,77,235 posts are lying vacant. Surprisingly, 32,581 faculty posts are lying vacant, representing 18.4% of total sanctioned strength. As per UGC guideline, the vacant teaching post should not overcome 10% of the sanctioned strength at any time. In case of non-teaching, the condition is also same. So you can see big number of teachers post is lying vacant, and we have to add 3.5 crore seat in our higher education institution. Are we in such scenario in a strong footage to attain 50% GER by 2035? So definitely, but I should appreciate the effort of present government that they have initiated recruitment of teacher in a large scale. Since I am in this domain for the last 1 year, I see there is a rapid movement of recruitment of teacher. I must appreciate Honorable Minister of Education Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji that they have mandatory sent a letter to all the universities to fill up their vacancies as fast as possible. Unfortunately, due to pandemic COVID-19, the process has gone down, but still it is now gaining momentum, and we are working in this direction. We should be optimistic in this line. The other challenges. By 2035, which is one of the stated goals of the policy, will mean that we must open one new university every week for the next 15 years. This is an estimated task which is given by in one of the premier policy analysis review, that it will need we must open one new university every week for the next 15 years. Opening one university every week on an ongoing basis is undoubtedly a massive challenge. So it is one of the important serious challenge that we have to follow. That ongoing basis we have to establish university. So far in a wide spectrum I discussed several issues related to Indian education system and how this policy envisions improvement in all the sectors and what are the challenges before us, not only before government, before all of us to attain the policy goals of NEP 2020. Let us now discuss in one of the domain where this policy is silent. It has talked much on training of teachers. A lot of documents are there who talked of training of teachers, but this policy is silent in terms of training of trainers, training of teacher educators. And one of my research paper is published in the same title, Training of Teacher Educators, a Sick Child in the Indian Education System. So who will train? If I retrospect the policy in terms of this particular provision, far before first curriculum framework was brought out in 1975, where there was no mention of this provision that how training of teachers will be done. How training of teachers will be done, there was no mention in this curriculum framework. It was completely silent on the training of teacher education. Thus, the framework is considered to be the first serious attempt to regularize curriculum uniformly. Let us proceed. Next framework came in 1988 for elementary and secondary education. Major initiatives are taken by this framework, 1988. It has changed certain provisions like a framework laid down the need of proper care of pre and in-service teacher training, but once again was woefully silent on the recommendation on training inputs for teacher educators. There was no input for training of teacher educators in this particular document. Then very swiftly, I come in National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education 2009. This 2009 framework was a milestone concerning this particular task, that is training of teacher educators, which highlighted so many aspects of this program. That mechanism need to be evolved, entry of talent in teacher education program. It somehow sowed the seed of integrated model of teacher education. It's sown the seed of integrated model of teacher education. It talked of stage-specific teacher training in our country, and specialization at the post-graduation level in science education, language education, social science education, and mathematics education. So this particular document made a new journey for the training of trainers. Otherwise, all the previous documents were absolutely silent on training of trainers. Uh, these are also some other recommendations. By 2000, now coming to main focus of this policy, that is minimum degree qualification for teaching will be kept as 4-year integrated B.Ed program. By 2030, the minimum degree qualification for teaching will be a 4-year integrated program. Let us see. I would like to share here some of my observations when I visited those institutions who are running 4-year integrated programs. It is also a policy goal. Let us come to that slide. What are the challenges? These are the challenges that I have identified with my own interaction with the teachers and the teacher educators who are there implementing B.Ed integrated program. First is a hierarchy of disciplines. Unfortunately, it exists in our education system that science is considered to be at the topmost hierarchy of academic discipline. Humanities and social science come later than science. So this hierarchy of discipline creates a sort of divide between students of a different subject, like BSc B.Ed, BA B.Ed, maybe BCom B.Ed. So BA B.Ed students are relatively feeling inferior than the students of BSc B.Ed. A division exists there. Then more focus of students towards core discipline than teacher education domain. What the teachers told, that students' main love becomes their core discipline. Like a student of BSc B.Ed, they attend science very seriously and they take teacher education very lightly. That we should pay attention to core graduate program, that is science, chemistry, physics, mathematics, or maybe for a student of humanities and social science, history, civics, political science. But when they come to learn papers of teacher education, they are disinterested. They are sitting in the class of teacher education, but they are doing assignment of science. They are doing assignment of their core discipline. They consider teacher education to be inferior discipline or maybe secondary discipline that they will attend very lightly. Now this, if I take reverse from the teacher's attitude towards student, focused attention of teachers towards core discipline student, then students of teacher education program. The student of core program, like the student who is doing BSc, student who is doing MSc, they get real affection from the science teacher than the student of BSc BA. I quote one of the teacher saying to students that I take BSc class very seriously, but I don't take class of BSc BEd that seriously, because they want to be a school teacher. They don't want to be a researcher in science. They don't want to be to attend humanities and social science. They basically want to be a school teacher. So why to give lot of attention to BSc BEd student? So science teacher means in higher education, science teacher giving lot of love to pure BSc student than the student of BSc BA. And obviously it is heading to weak student teacher report. That student failed to develop that rapport with the teacher of teacher education. They always running after science teacher, core discipline teacher, because these are the subject they feel that it is the core discipline, whereas teacher education is the secondary discipline. Now how it implies for the policy, we have to restructure our curriculum in order to overcome this challenge, in order to see that BEd integrated program is being implemented successfully. Now issues related to strong practical training, like it has provision of 6-month internship experience where quality schools are needed. I am also dealing with teacher education program with the same provision, 6-month internship experience. What is happening that no good school is ready to take students for such longer period, disturbing their own teaching learning in schools. When we go to quality schools, so-called quality schools having good reputation, good infrastructure, good exposure to our students, they deny to take students for practical training experience, for internship of our student. They say that we train our teachers, they seriously take their classes, and when the interns come in the school, it disturbs our entire school, and somehow the interest of the school student is affected. No good school is ready to take. This is major challenge that has to be attended at a higher level, where authorities may say schools to invite interns to their schools. Only schools with poor infrastructure and lack of human resource, they take interns which give very poor practicum exposure to our students. So the schools where there is shortage of teacher, or the schools who are very money minded, they have recruited only 1 or 2 teachers. They find it as an opportunity to take the service of BEd interns and save their money for the regular teachers. But those schools are very poor in terms of provisions of teaching learning, no playground, no library, no teaching learning resources. So what happens? Our students get very poor exposure and they fail to develop proper competence in teacher education program. And such schools also exploit interns. Some of our students come and complain that, sir, in that school there is no place for us to sit. We cannot get a place to sit there. We cannot make our lesson plans. We cannot make our teaching it because there is no space. Only in 1 or 2 floors with total of 5-6 room, big school is running. How 20 or say 30 B.Ed interns will be accommodated in that school. These are the challenges to overcome in order to successfully implement this integrated program. And this is now let us see what is the implication for teacher education discipline. I am heading to 8:40 p.m. I want to ask Dr. Sharma ji how much you can give so that I can see my pace.
We want to do justice. We want to do justice with your efforts. You kindly,
Yeah.
because I'm going to ask one question each from these 5 participants also onto this policy.
Okay.
Dear
So how much time I should finish means
Dr. Sahab, how much time do you need?
maybe 15 to 30 minutes.
15 minutes would be fine, sir.
15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So because other timing constraint may be there, so I should ask this. Thank you. So the implication for teacher education discipline, like if I see my own Department of Teacher Education, the government has given the plan of ITEP, that is Integrated Teacher Education Program. What are those provisions? Let us see. These are the provision for running a 4-year integrated program. A professor or associate professor as head, 2 posts for assistant professor in educational studies, and 7 posts of assistant professor in liberal discipline. Liberal discipline, those who will teach those who will teach science, who will teach history, who will teach chemistry, who will teach physics, who will teach mathematics. So these are the liberal discipline. And 2 posts of assistant professor in educational studies means they will deal with the papers of education. Maybe pedagogy courses, or maybe not pedagogy, maybe issues in education, principles of education, maybe curriculum, all this paper, and 1 professor. Now, if you see the qualification for professor and other post, in the post of professor and associate professor, and in the post of assistant professor, MEd and PhD in education is required. Means they have deep thinking in the domain of teacher education. They are MEd, they are PhD in education, so they qualify to meet the challenges of teacher education program. But for the post of the 7 liberal discipline, only B.Ed is essential, where MEd is a desirable qualification. Means without MEd, without holding a PG degree in that particular discipline, one becomes the part of that department of teacher education department having only a UG degree. Can we expect a teacher of chemistry, assistant professor of chemistry, without doing MSc in chemistry? We cannot expect it. But here it is shown that without doing MEd, one can be the part of faculty in teacher education department. Whereas we cannot expect assistant professor in chemistry without MSc in chemistry. But this is something implication for teacher education discipline. So what will happen in the Department of Teacher Education? Only 3 teachers, 1 head and 2 assistant professor of education discipline will be of teacher education, whereas 7 teachers of liberal discipline, where their basic love is their core discipline, will be in a majority in the teacher education department. So in my own home, there will be majority of others who belong to other discipline, because their true love is not teacher education, their true love is something else. Maybe science, maybe under science, chemistry, mathematics, physics, history, civics, or some other subjects. And they become the part of 7 such members in front of 3 members in the teacher education. So what will happen with the research in teacher education? How it will affect cohesive environment in the teacher education department? How the department will attend serious deliberation on educational issues and understanding of student teaching learning at a deeper level, because there are only 3 specialized in teacher education who can undertake research. How other 7 will do research in the issues of teacher education, whereas they are not master of education, where they are not PhD in education. It will affect the cohesive environment in the teacher education department, serious deliberation on educational issues. So how we can overcome this challenge? I feel there is a good number of aspirants there. We must make MEd also as one of the essential qualification so that they can serve better in the integrated program. This slight modification will help to establish teacher education discipline in much stronger way. Otherwise, I feel this implication will be very sound. Some provisions related to special children with special needs, which our Honorable Prime Minister has named Divyang. This particular policy has recognized the fact that teacher would require not only subject teaching knowledge and understanding of subject related aims of education, but also skill of understanding special requirement of teacher. So how they will meet this challenge? This policy is saying that they will initiate a certificate course in special education in the pre-service mode as well as in the in-service mode, either full-time or as a part-time, in the blended mode, in the online mode, in the same disciplinary colleges or universities. So somehow it is in the line of inclusion. How that there we should not make a separate track of special education and the general education. Rather, if a education of general education, if a teacher of general education does a certificate course or a blended course for tackling the issues of hearing impaired children, visually impaired children, or mentally retarded children, so they may come at par, and this policy envisions greater synergy of special education courses and general education courses, so that the curriculum of NCT and RCI, for my global audience, I want to say NCT deals with general education and RCI deals with Rehabilitation Council of India with special education courses. So this policy dreams creating greater synergy between NCT and RCI to ensure availability of qualified special educators. So how we should address this? It is in the positive line also that inclusion is envisioned in this recommendation, but at the same time, some specialized services to children with special need is also needed, where we need to address this challenge. Some important basic challenges I would like to quote here. NEP 2020 way forward. I will skip it very fast because some discussion will also take place. Debureaucratization of education. It is very much needed to implement this policy. Unfortunately, the professional councils in our country and major academic institutions this time is being headed by the bureaucrats. I'm not telling that I'm not raising doubt on the competence of bureaucrats, but in order to deal the affairs of education, we need some educationists should deal or head the academic institutions. So we have to work on de-bureaucratization of education, because sometimes many institutes at central and state level are headed by former bureaucrats. Many vice chancellor are former bureaucrats. Government heavily relies on bureaucrats for policy implementation. So we have to work on this direction. Another challenge is related to revenue share to education. This 6% is a very magical figure that we could not achieve even after 74 years. This 6% of GDP, and surprisingly, the percentage of budget has gone from 4.14% in 2014-15 to 3.2% in 2020-21. Means we are at a stage of 3.2% presently of our GDP, whereas in the previous year 2014-15 we were spending 4.14. In the decreasing trend we are. So that inspires little confidence that how 6% of GDP will be spent. And owing to COVID-19 crisis, how the budget expenditure on education is expected to fall further. Definitely, this is a bigger challenge. Digital divide. A lot of digital initiatives are being taken by the present government, like SWAM courses, MOOC courses, Nishtha program, Prerna app, Diksha training, a lot of digital programs. But we have to first attend the digital divide in the country, especially in the schools. We talk of online learning for our schools, but if you see, the majority of learner will be excluded. Only 35.1% government schools have access to functional computers in 2016-17. UDICE is a government survey by National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration of India. 35% of the schools have functional computers. Then it has gone down to 36.8% in 2016-17. Only 36% schools have access to computers. And then only 24% of Indian household have internet facility. 11% household have a functional computer, and little over 15% of rural household have access to internet. So this digital divide is a very big divide that have to be attended. To successfully implement this policy, we have to attend this. Foreign universities in India. Today, presently, approximately 650 institutions are offering online courses in foreign collaboration. It is a very healthy trend. I must appreciate National Education Policy 2020 that they are working in this direction, and they are posing a challenge before Indian education system to meet the global quality standards. If you see the global ranking of university, in the first 100 institutions, there are no Indian institution. So big foreign university like Harvard universities, like Oxford University, how they will come to India and they will pose a big challenge to our education system, where it may be a motivating factor that how to meet their quality standards. Here the corporate sector may help Indian universities and colleges to overhaul education system with effective accountable mechanism, to timely modify the curricula, to timely meet the challenges and of emerging time, revising the curriculum. Here, a synergy can be built up with the help of corporate sector. But here I want to raise an alarming trend for the foreign universities, that they have to care Indian social and economic fabric, development of all disciplines equally. Otherwise, only science discipline will be taught, only disciplines with serious research will be taught, and the other discipline will be ignored. So it will create a disparity among discipline in the foreign universities, and the fee structure in an inclusive approach. Somewhere I saw the criticism of NEP 2020, mostly online, of how these private institutions and foreign university will keep their fee structure. So government may do something to constrain certain fee structure in the light of Indian financial scenario. They have to, government has to do something in this direction, and rural side also foreign universities should also open their centers, not merely in the major metro cities. Vocational training, it will sow the seeds of entrepreneurship among prospective generation. Carefully now, this provision that 10 days begless period during grade 6 to 8, where the intern with local vocational experts such as carpenters, gardeners, potters, artists. So a student will be exposed to a world of work. They may not carry forward their profession, this profession, but at least they will understand and appreciate value of money and human labor. That what the money I am getting from my parents, how hard earned it is, how much a labor works to earn the daily bread, how he earns livelihood. Whether a student of a very higher elite class or a very poor class, they must appreciate the labor, human labor, and the value of money. They must see that how the rickshaw puller is sweating in order to earn 10 rupees or 50 rupees. They must see it. And apart from it, it will be a joyful days for them, because 10 days they will go for internship, they will work with their hands, it will develop a life skill among them, face the challenges of their life and societal rates and poor self-concept. This opportunity will help them to curb such issues. Anganwadi related to this problem, I discussed it. I am skipping it because only 2-3 minutes are a past experience of integrated program. I touched it in those slides, but there are some other issues, especially employability. I will speak, then I will finish. Employability, like in education, we are introducing a lot of creative courses, but we have to reach to employment agencies. They should also modify their requirement, their job specifications to meet, to invite these students of these courses. Last year, these students of BSc BEd, BA BEd, and students of integrated PG program had lot of trouble because many institutions did not approve their qualification, because in their criteria only traditional course were there. So government should initiate something that the organization should be familiar with the changes in the education sector, so that their employability should not be suffered. Other issues are there. So ultimately, I have to say about the policy that we are in the process of adopting the policy. We are presently adopting the policy. Very soon we have to adapt the policy. We are presently at the very first stage, we are adopting it. Let us adapt this policy from my own contribution, from the contribution of Dr. Gulshan Sharma, from the contribution of other stakeholders, parents' contribution, NGO contribution, corporate contribution, government contribution, our MPs, MLAs contribution, Prime Minister contribution, contribution of students so that we can adapt the policy. So definitely I feel my discussion will help to adopt the policy, and the challenges that I have discussed today will help all of us to adapt the policy, and further we will monitor that how the policy implementation is going on, in what direction, so that we can further refine our education system. So with this I end my deliberation with a beautiful quote of Indian seer Rabindranath Tagore, that clouds come floating into my life no longer to carry rain or a storm, but to add colors to my sunset sky. All these changes, all these provisions, the new things are coming up not to bring storm. Let us not take these things negatively, but it is, all these are very positive step to bring colors in our sunset sky. Enjoy the vibrant colors that are coming up with every changes with this policy initiatives, so that we can make our Indian education system very viable, very robust, so that it can meet the global challenges and we all live in a happy world, in a happy global society. So thank you all of you. I thank all the organizers of this program, especially Dr. Gulshan Sharma, who has given me this opportunity, and the others who were instrumental to invite me in this forum, from IUCTE and other functionaries. And thanks to the entire global community for giving this opportunity to me to interact with such a wonderful audience and the people. Thanks and all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shah. It was wonderful, wonderful to have your presentation. You have done so much of detailed work. You have gone thread by thread the entire policy, all the pages between the lines. I must appreciate and I must compliment you. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever we are, and all my these five girls also, come on, put your hands together. Come on, put your hands together. All of us, wherever we are. It was a wonderful, wonderful presentation, Dr. Shah. And particularly a lot of takeaways are there from this particular policy. But as there's a paucity of time, I'll just quickly roll over 5, 6. Whether we want living skills or we want life skills in education, that's very important. So you have focused on life skills. Yes, that's so appropriate. Then we talked about teacher education at detail. Yes, is totally in totality being taken, because if you have good teachers, you enjoy. And I always ask youngsters, and I laugh and I smile with them, why do you enjoy a particular teacher's class and why you don't enjoy a particular class? When you
Yes.
enjoy a class, you want that this class should not get over. But when you don't enjoy the class, you say, oh, when this class will get over. And the moment that class gets over, you just pinch your friend. Thanks God, this teacher has gone. Why he did fall sick? Why he has come today? Oh my God, what a pain. Like that you talk about. Anyway, so let's.
Thankfully, it is a virtual meeting. We cannot pinch each other.
Right. So you took another very sensitive area, very sensitive point, that the special children needs, because that is to be sensitized, and that has to be taken care of. 6% of the GDP, yes, that's another very important part, what you have taken. Foreign universities coming to India at the same time, when you talked about education to be becoming, but I personally feel it will become more transparent. There'll be more accountability of the teachers, and what you are teaching will become more transparent. Technology will bring everything. It will call spade a spade. If a teacher is taking interest in a subject, teaching very well, and now there are no geographical barriers. One can sit in US and they can teach in India. Why? Come on, let's see.
Yes.
There's no problem. And price is very important, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to understand. One very important criteria is there. Of course, this is not the forum, but just I'm leaving a food for thought for everybody, which you are not taking into consideration. The corporate sector and our colleges and universities, you've got to take into consideration. Now, when you're talking about colleges and universities, Professor Saab was very kind to talk over there. He was very, very moderate and very fine and very refined when he talked about in a very polite way how the teacher education should be done and all. There is another challenge. You got to take it very fast and very important. Speed, speed. Speed is very important. When you want to change a curriculum in a college or in a university, if a college wants to change, it will go to university. The university academic council will meet. Then academic council will give the recommendation. It will go to next higher, next higher, next higher. And by the time it gets into an action, it may become obsolete. So thereby,
Yes.
today, when you are talking about technology, ladies and gentlemen, in education, there is a new challenge coming up. Google, IBM,
Yes.
Microsoft, LinkedIn, Bank of America, and during this pandemic, when you're watching the films and everything on Netflix, they all are thinking very seriously to set up their own universities. They all are thinking, why these children, and you know what they're talking about? It's a mind blowing when you will listen to that. One of the study which has been carried out abroad and the synthesis which has come to our chamber. And when I talk about that, it will give a nightmare to educators. It's very important to understand. Imagine the corporate sector, who brings the technology first, who brings the software first, who brings the hardware first, who brings the change in technology and innovation first. The corporate sector is telling, who is doing a piggy ride? Are we the first, or are these universities and colleges and institutions that are the first? If we are the first, then why are we going to them? Why not we should open our own setup? Why not we should start on McDonald's? They've already opened the university. Imagine what is successful. And you know who are the teachers there? Who are the teachers? You got to understand that. These are the people, those are making that burger. Those are making that shake because they know what burger, what quantity, what ingredient, what is to be filled. Because all the time there is a problem going on. The corporate tells whatever is being taught in school and colleges, they are giving theory, they are not giving practical. And these children, when they are coming to us, they are not employable. We cannot accept them. We got to train them. So now the technology has brought this pandemic and coronavirus has brought, and these platforms are thinking very seriously, why not to set up our own systems, then to go to the universities and colleges. And ladies and gentlemen, another challenge I would like to share with you. Do you know how many Indian students are stuck at this point of time abroad? Those have already paid the money. They were doing part-time job. You can't imagine how their parents must have collected the money, because we are international chamber. We deal overseas shores and we know what is happening in the different continents. You can't imagine the plight and the condition of those children. They are not going to get their back money. This pandemic, nobody knows how long it will go on. Nobody knows when the vaccine will come. When the vaccine will come, who is going to get the first vaccine? And see the population of the world, when does it trickles down finally to that particular person who with the great difficulty after taking a loan has gone abroad to take admission there? Okay, that is one scenario. Second scenario, very challenging, very, very alarming. A lot of children have already paid the money. They are still sitting in India. They were just thinking, we have taken the admission, we will go abroad, we will go and just park ourselves over there. Donald Trump will come to receive us at the airport. He'll come with his grown-up daughter and he will say, my son-in-law, you have come. Please take admission in the Pepperdine University. Take care of America. And after 1 week, you see them. They do part-time job. They do morning and evening. They go less for the classes. Thank God. Do you know that there was a law passed few days back in America where it was conveyed that no online will be accepted. All the foreign students, those have come over here to America, either you attend the university or the college or you go back home. And fortunately, the Supreme Court in America has given the ruling, no, it is not possible. They put their foot down and then this thing has come to standstill. Otherwise, it's such an alarming nightmare at this point of time. And the last point, another very horrifying story I would like to give you. Do you know how much money is drained out from India when you go for overseas studies? And do you know that there is only one university in America which is government, rest all is private? And do you know that 4 rooms or 5 rooms or 6 rooms and a private university is running over there? You just want to leave India and you want to go? Have you seen the quality? Have you seen the system? What exactly is going on? Come on, don't turn mad. The couple of lakh of crores of money you are draining out from India and you are not realizing. And I personally feel sometimes very pained. The IITs and IIMs, you trained only few people. They go and park themselves offshore. They become the CEOs and in charge over there. What is the contribution to India? What is the contribution to our own country? If India is doing so much, I think the time has come. Let's think about India. It is no more a brain drain.
Yeah.
You've got to see it from that point of view. It's very important, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, one more very important point. 1.6 billion, 1.6 billion US dollar equivalent is the loan being taken by students in America from different institutions to take admission in those universities which are closed at this point of time. Harvard has
Yes.
already taken decision that next 1 year we are not opening up all private. You're going to have online. So ladies and gentlemen, wake up. If we want India to rise, India to become Vishnu Guru once again, I think today Dr. Alok Gardia ji, he covered each and every point between the lines and he was nowhere mincing the word. He discussed everything in detail in such a way where are the shortcomings, where are the plugs required, and where exactly is the strength and where is the weakness. He gave the complete SWOT analysis of the policy in such a beautiful way. Heartiest congratulations to you and my deep regards to Inter-University Center for Teacher Education, Dr. Professor Tripathi ji also, who basically introduced us to you, our chamber to you. And we are so thankful because they are the one, those brought this particular platform this evening over here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all my kiddies, those with the patience have been hearing us so much. Now is your turn. And let's start with Jahnavi. Okay, Jahnavi, unmute your mic, child. Come on, let's have you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You had so much of patience. I'm so grateful to all of you.
Oh, it was a very great session. I enjoyed it. I got to know a lot of things.
Okay.
So it was a very enlightening session.
Good. Now we want to get something back from you. You
Yes.
got to tell us, because this campaign we started on 5th of June. That is
Yes.
on the World Environment Day. Now, water scarcity is a very big problem. Whether
Yes.
it's home or in school or in college or in university or in institution, anywhere I talk about. What would you like to tell Janvi to the entire world and to the entire globe and all the young boys and girls and of course teachers also and everybody that how can we save water? Do you want to discuss about home or do you want to discuss about college? Wherever, choice is yours. And all the girls, you've got a choice this evening. You can share your vision. My aim is how to save water. And
Yes.
Janvi, your time starts now.
Yeah, so as rightly said, Jal hi Jeevan hai or Jal hi Kal hai. So our tomorrow is our modern future with a lot of modern technology coming in future and the ones that we are using today. I would like to share 3 ways you can conserve water using modern technology. So the first way is by using sensors and automated systems. So by installing sensors in farms, you can get to know how much water is required for growing crops. And also these sensors can be used in urban cities on by installing them on pipes to know if there is any leakage or if there's any contamination of water. So this is a great way to conserve water. The second way is by using on-site technology and recycling systems. So the water used in schools, in colleges, in commercial hubs, in offices, this water can be recycled and reused in many ways. So basically, water gets converted to potable water, grey water, or hard water, which can be used in many ways, in bathrooms, in watering plants, and different methods. The third way is by using big data analytics. Now, big data is like the talk of the town. Data analytics is used in every field today. Companies use data analytics to take decisions for future. So how can we incorporate data analytics in water conservation? So data analytics is used in smart meters, which helps us measure how much water we use every day in our household systems. So according to which, after the meter reading, you get to know how much water we use, and based on that, you can know what conservation water conservation method you can use to based on how much water you use or based on how much water you waste. So these are the three methods I suggest we could conserve water.
Wonderful. Install sensors, recycling, and data analytics. Very
Yes.
good. All three are wonderful suggestions. God bless you. Keep it up. Do your
Thank you,
studies very
sir.
well. Take care of your parents. Take care of everybody whosoever is there with you. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
joining
sir.
us this evening.
Thank
Shreya,
you,
good
sir.
evening, Shreya. How are you? Shreya, good evening. Okay, she is busy. Let's
Good
call.
evening, sir. How are you?
How are you, child?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Okay, God is very kind. Let's have your suggestion, Shreya. How can we save water? You can talk home, you can talk college, you can talk public places, you can talk movie halls, you can talk public utility places, you can talk factories, you can talk offices. Choice is yours, Shreya.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk on a greater scale. So we must understand that although we have a lot of solutions ahead, we have a lot of rainwater harvesting systems, we still have to plan it to target it to the right people. So this can be done through large scale database controls to monitor water resources and the flow and usage of water. So, one well structured example was the water accounting system. I found it really inspiring. It was worked on by Dr. David Molden and the Delft University of Technology. So, this system manages and records all the water bodies and how the water is used in the areas, for what purpose, who uses the resources, at what rate, and much more. So, this majorly helps us to target measures at each of these wings. A similar incentive is also the We Sense It. It's a similar model, but no organization works on recording these data, but rather people are employed to continuously monitor and upload these data from their phones. So this also provides a lot of scope for employment in rural areas. We can also look at the serious gaming water management model, which is a well-structured reality game which involves small artificial water bodies where experiments regarding water conservations are tested. For example, one village in Africa was given an artificial pond and asked to take care of it for about 10 years or so, with incentives given to them according to how well they manage these resources scarcely. So, this was very famous in the Mekong River Basin. Other innovative techniques are also benchmarking, alternative flow regime systems, and water value maps. And I also think huge factories and industries should adapt techniques which save water. One very inspiring model that I found was the brand Levis, the clothing brand. So they had come up with a technique of waterless jeans. So this involved a lot of scientific techniques for dyeing, fabrication, a lot of other processes. And it was estimated that they saved about 3 liters of water for every jean that they produced. And if you make an approximate of how many jeans they produce annually, the water saved could be enough to start a whole artificial pond. So these are my highlights and
Wonderful.
suggestions.
Wonderful. God bless you. And you know, so many compliments are coming. Two kids have spoken so far. I call kids only because they're kids for me. So both of them, they have got a lot of compliments on my watch parties and on my Facebook. People from the world over, they are so happy. They are sending so many compliments. And meanwhile, Dr. Alok, you also jubilate because lots of people, they say, for the first time, somebody discussed the policy so much in detail. Thank you very much,
Thank
Shreya.
you.
It was wonderful. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
we have Prisha. Prisha, good evening to you.
Good evening, sir.
How are you, child?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Okay, now would you like to discuss your views with us, Prisha?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yes, yes, Prisha.
Le- yeah, we sometimes underestimate the influence of little things, but little things make a lot of difference. The reason why I'm saying this is because we don't need huge capital or a lot of people to help us in conservation of water. It needs is a little effort from our side. Say, for example, we don't have to road we don't have to cement our roads from road to house. Like, what I meant is that we can leave space between road and house so that rainwater can procure inside. The other thing can be we can put a layer of mulch around trees and plants because mulch basically forms a layer between the soil and the atmosphere, preventing sunlight from reaching the soil surface, thus reducing evaporation and also soil erosion. And we can also plant drought resistant trees and plants. And also, due to the whole pandemic, we got time to ourselves, so we can spare a little time from the time we got and plant a tree in our surroundings, because trees and plants play an important role in developing the or increasing the underground water. And also, we can turn off the water while we're shaving or brushing, because those 5 minutes, in those 5 minutes we can save a lot of water. And also, government also can take initiatives like, for example, Telangana government has taken an initiative called Harita Haram, which basically is to encourage people in planting trees. And all I want to say is that we don't need magic to change the world. All we need is we carry all the power we need inside ourselves already.
Very good, very good. What subjects are you studying, Visha?
So I'm basically in BCom professional, which is integrated with CIMA. So I study business economics, financial accounting, cost accounting.
Good, good, good. Now let me invite Adishri. Adishri, Adishri, good evening to you. I must compliment you. You were the first child this evening who came, and you had so much of patience. You waited. In fact, I would have invited you first because you came first, but they were into the sequence. That's why I got you. Okay, let's share your
Thank you,
views.
sir.
We want to hear. Uh, one is when we say Adi Shri, one was Adi Shankaracharya, and one is Adi Shri. Okay, tell me Adi Shri, what do you want to suggest?
Yeah. So, next to air, water is the most important element for the preservation of life. And conservation of water nowadays has become one of the most answerable topics with thousands of methods and techniques. But for the conservation of water, what we need is the change in ourselves. First, we have to take a step to change the environment. We have to start conserving water from bathing, brushing, and gardening, cooking, water pollution, etc. There are many different techniques and methods also. First of all, it's the use of geothermal water. I read about it like it was water is being conserved from the hot waterfalls, and these water are being conserved for the further use, and we can be met to a certain extent by using those geothermal water. And secondly is renovation of traditional water resources. There are many traditional water resources like Kuhul in hilly areas, and Jing in Ladakh. Uh, Others are like Kui, Bedi, Bauri in areas like Rajasthan. So these are the some of the traditional water resources which we should adapt according to the crisis in today's world. So third is increasing the forest cover. Some part of the rainwater is stored in stable water reservoirs, whereas some quantity of water infiltrates into the land and takes form of groundwater. Due to increasing deforestation during the last century, most of the rainwater flowed away to the saline seas without infiltrating into the ground. Hence, trees are helpful in reducing the demand for water along with recharging the water resources. And the final point will be the flood management. Nowadays it is very pandemic, because there are many floods in Bombay, in parts of the Gujarat. They really need to be controlled, and this can be controlled with the help of afforestation by planting trees and building dams and embankments along the rivers and lakes. So finally, I would say that the only change that you can bring is the first step that you take for the conservation of any resources. you have to take step to conserve water with your own day-to-day daily basis activities. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Sometimes I wonder how these small kiddies, they have got such a wonderful ideas. I really sometimes feel, but I think my thanks goes to the advisor for the entire southern part of India, who is taking care of getting these 5 kids every day from world over. Ladies and gentlemen, those of us who are interested to come as a women empowerment to give the suggestion basically on water conservation, our advisor, Colonel Menon, from the Indian Army, who retired, and thereafter he worked with the ITC Welcome Group as the HR head for quite some time. He's based out of Bangalore. We can get in touch with him, and I share his cell number with all of you so that anybody from world over, for getting it dialed to India, you have to have +91, okay? Instead of 001, because it will go from different countries. So +91, you should take separately. His cell number is 87544 26270. I repeat for my benefit and your benefit. His cell number is +91, and then it is 87544 He is the one who is basically encouraging these small kids, and our efforts from the chamber is to do the women empowerment and to get these small kids with lots of innovative, creative ideas. And sometimes I wonder, oh my God, I become speechless when I hear them. They've got such a good ideas. There's so much to learn from them. Okay, one more. My child is there. Pritha, good evening to you. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I am good. How are you?
God is kind. And how are your parents and everybody? All fine?
I'm good.
Okay, Pritha, let's share your views. Let's hear from you how to save water, how to save every drop of water.
Sure, sir. So firstly, I'll start by
Your mic you have to bring. Your mic you have to bring near. Your mic you have to bring near.
Can you hear me now?
Bring more near. Your mic.
I don't have the
Okay.
earphones right now.
Okay, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So firstly, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come here and share my views. So I would start by saying all of us are basically somewhere or the other to be blamed for not saving water. And when I say so, I have such points which you might have not even thought of, like going to a restaurant and ordering for food, and the water is complimentary, right, for most of the places. But we allow the waiter to fill the whole glass of water. It's not how much we are going to drink or what is the what quantity are we going to consume, but the waiter pours it in, and at the end we see it's wasted because uh, either it be hygiene factors or be it any other factor, we end up not drinking that water. And I think that little bit of water can also be saved and can it can create a lot of difference. And the next thing I would say is people have started in this generation, especially people have started using washing machine and dishwashers like very often. And I would like to say, I know it is very efficient and it's very easy to use, but one washing machine, when it's in a running form, it uses at least 7 to 8 liters of water, which goes waste. As compared to washing clothes by hand or washing your dishes by hand, it takes 1 liter or 1.5 liter max to max. So I would request people, I know it is efficient, it is very useful, but we should consider stop using it, because at the end, it is not doing any good to us. Also, there is a health benefit to washing clothes by hand, that you get a workout, and it's also kind of an exercise, and all of us in this lockdown who didn't have washing machines did it. So I think we can do it. Also, dishwashers, there is no guarantee any dishwasher is giving you that they will clean every part of the utensil. And I have seen dishwashers where the food is stuck into the utensils, and that is not hygienic. So washing it by hand is definitely more hygienic, isn't it? And the last thing that I want to say right now is using so I came across an Instagram post couple of years back where a designer basically he made this toilet cistern. So basically the cistern had a tap and a basin on it. So basically a person washes the hand and that wastewater goes into the cistern, and once it goes into the cistern it's anyways wastewater, so when you flush it it gets reused and goes to the drain. So I think that is a very good thing what everybody should actually start doing it, and I really hope designers in India start doing it, because I think it's a very innovative and actually a very useful idea. Also, another thing I would like to say, when we are at our home, like personal home, flats, apartments, we think of water preservation. We think, okay, the water level is going down. We see borings happening around. We hear our secretary saying, please, please, in summer, stop using so much of water. But we have that in mind that, yeah, okay, that time we make sure we don't do that. But right now, when I'm in a PG staying in Bangalore, I see my PG mates, they use water like nobody else's business. Like they'll open the taps and leave it open for hours. They don't care about it. Like there are times like when our PG warden has to come and say like, will you stop using so much of water? The water level has gone down. And I think everybody is aware of the situation of Bangalore and water crisis. It keeps on happening. And in our PG, we have tankers coming in every day twice to fill, and still people don't care because they are like, ye mera ghar nahi hai, why will I even care about it? And so this is very important. People don't understand that at grassroots level they should start doing something, because there's this saying, boon boon se sagar banta hai. So we should start preserving water whatever we can. Brushing, while brushing, while bathing, these are all generic ways, but we should come up with innovative ways, which I mentioned. Also, people don't understand that. People say, okay, it's on my part, I am wasting itna sa water, nothing is gonna happen. Maximum kya hoga, the water level will go down, we'll have a boring and that's it. But then that is not the case all the time. We have to make sure that on our part we do it, the other person on their part should do it, so that, because we need to live on this earth, and without water no human will survive. So that's what all I want to tell people, that please conserve water, please start doing it on a grassroots level, because it's very important. Right now we have corona and all of these crises, but water crisis is going to take place very soon. Every summer we see it all across India, water crisis. And so yeah, that was my point. Thank you.
Wonderful. एक तुमने point बोला, बूंद बूंद से
सागर बनता है.
सागर बनता है. बूंद बूंद से सागर बनता है. Ladies and gentlemen, each one thinking in that way, that we got to save water, that is something very important. Thank you, child. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful to have you. Now I'll have Dr. Alok finally. Thank you very much. I want to convey my deep thanks to you, Doctor. It was wonderful to have you. All my five,
thank you, sir. Thank you.
All my
Thanks a
5
lot.
ladies, those joined today, I would request all of you. See, जैसे बोला तुमने कि बूंद बूंद से सागर बनता है. So each one of you are going to make difference in the universe. Your views are going to make difference in the world, and entire global fraternity is going to think that way. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, this YouTube video will be available of today's entire program with all the 5 girls, women empowerment and their suggestions in that. I would request each one of you kindly share it maximum. इतना तो आप कर ही सकते हैं ना, क्योंकि हमको अपने परिवार का साइज बढ़ाना है. I will be taking this entire vision to the Honorable Prime Minister of India. The day will be 1 million family. So we all are working in that direction. From world over, lots of people are joining us in this campaign. But finally, we have to reach that magic figure of 1 million. That is the vision, and that is the kind of a dream project we are living with. So I would request all the 5 girls, share tomorrow morning. Ask Dr. Chitra, who got your numbers, Colonel Manon. Once you get the video, share with all your friends, share maximum people. And this particular video is available on the Facebook, Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page also. The YouTube, you will be again coming on Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page tomorrow morning. Do share with everybody. Do join. And it's a pleasure. And Dr. Saab, particularly this evening, getting you over here with us. It was indeed a great pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing your vision. Thanks for sharing everything with us. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, we are signing off and see you tomorrow evening. No, tomorrow morning, 9:30. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. 500 million plus people, and that is Venerable Dr. Dhammapiyaji. So 9:30 tomorrow morning, Buddha's Relevance, and then of course tomorrow evening, same show, same way, with the new audience, with the new participants, with larger family. Thank you, good night, and Shubh Ratri.